Some breaking news now. As promised, Jared Kushner, special advisor to the president, and also his son-in-law, speaking at a U.S. tech roundtable at the White House. Let's listen in.
Exactly the opposite. To date, we've been working with hundreds of talented civil servants, men and women, who want to serve their country and see their government do better. We have challenged ourselves to pursue change that will provide utility to Americans far beyond our tenure here. Together, we have set ambitious goals and empowered interagency teams to tackle our objectives. It's working, and it's very exciting. We began by analyzing and auditing our current infrastructure. It turns out that federal agencies collectively operate 6,100 data centers, the vast majority of which can be consolidated and migrated to the cloud, something a lot of you know a lot about. Many of our federal systems are decades old, with our 10 oldest being between 39 and 56 years old. The Department of Defense, for example, still uses 8-inch floppy disks on some of its legacy systems. The 1980 Paperwork Reduction Act, designed to make government more efficient, but also established before the government used computers, still has domain over every form published online. This requires a 6-month review and a rigorous interagency process to approve any changes that can be made on a government website, regardless of how minor they are. This traps thousands of processes and paperwork and prevents routine improvements, optimization, and often innovation. The VA has 532 forms on vets.gov, the majority of which are not accessible by modern browsers. Most services still use paper forms, including 90% of healthcare applications and 86% of claims. Our veterans deserve better, and that's what we are going to deliver. Civilian agencies maintain over 1.6 million email addresses via on-premise servers, which are maintained by over 40 different contracts, paying on average $20 per user per month. Agencies that have migrated to cloud-based email have seen these costs reduced to as little as $3 per user. Our goal here is simple. We are here to improve the day-to-day lives of the average citizen. That's a core promise, and we are keeping it. Together, we will unleash the creativity of the private sector to provide citizen services in a way that has never happened before. We will foster a new set of startups focused on GovTech and be the global leader in the field, making government more transparent and responsive to citizens' needs. We are encouraged by the enthusiasm and collective desire to succeed, and we have already begun to see many improvements. 2 weeks ago, Secretary Shulkin announced a plan to unify the electronic medical record systems of the VA and the DoD. As the two systems encompass essentially the same set of users, this merger would seem obvious. However, this has been a major issue for veterans, and despite 16 years of failed efforts, the Trump administration got it done in less than 5 months. Additionally, the VA has already been able to reduce the average wait time for claim establishment from 25 days to 8. Secretary Shulkin has done an outstanding job and has many more great announcements that will be coming soon, including a very big one this coming Friday. OMB has eliminated more than 30 outdated and unnecessary technology policies, comprising of more than 850 discrete requirements of federal agencies. This effort alone will reduce compliance costs by tens of thousands of work hours per year. For example, until last week, the government was still requiring federal agencies to check software for Y2K compliance. We have also worked with bipartisan leaders of the House to unanimously pass the Modernizing Government Technology Act and are actively working with the Senate to send it to the President's desk for signing into law. A conservative estimate has our government's technology spending at over $80 billion a year annually. Over 2/3 of these costs are spent maintaining legacy systems. This structure is unsustainable. Ultimately, these problems are more than simply technical. They are about veterans in need of care, students fulfilling their potential, and Americans pursuing their dreams. By modernizing these systems, we will meaningfully improve the lives of tens of millions of Americans. Thank you all for being here today and for participating in these sessions, and we hope that in the coming weeks we'll be able to announce a lot more very exciting successes that will make this country better for everybody. I now want to turn this over to Chris, who's going to go into more detail on the different sessions and give you more direction.
You've been listening to Jared Kushner, senior advisor to President Trump, his son-in-law, as they kick off Tech Week at the White House. They've got some of the top CEOs of American tech companies there. You heard him talking about the red tape with technology in the government that they're trying to deal with. They have several hours of sessions ahead, and we will hear the results of those in the coming weeks.